Hey my dudes, my name is Cecilia and welcome to my kitchen here in Stockholm, Sweden. Today is the first day of our 12 Days of Christmas 2023 and as you might be able to tell, I am so excited. We are jumping right into the Christmas feeling and making saffransbullar. Saffransbullar are saffron buns, and think of them as Swedish cardamom buns. They're basically the exact same thing, but instead of a cardamom dough, it's a saffron dough, and instead of a cardamom filling, it is a vanilla filling. Nothing says Christmas in Sweden like saffron. Originally, it was used in lussekatter, which are St. Lucia Day buns. We already did those last year, and in thinking about what kind of bun I wanted to do this year, I thought we have to make saffron buns. I used to make these when I worked at a bakery here in Stockholm, and I swear all Christmas season, I must have eaten at least one a shift, if not 2 or 3. They are my absolute favorite. They're so, so delicious. And I am so excited both about these buns and also that it's Christmas time. So let's just go get started. Let me show you how to make these. The day before you'd like to make your buns, pour 500 grams of water, 50 grams of cognac, and 1 gram of saffron into a small pot and place on the stove. Bring to a rolling boil, then set to the side, leaving it room temperature overnight. The next day, pour all of that saffron-infused liquid into the bowl of your stand mixer. Add 1,100 grams of flour, 200 grams of sugar, 10 grams of salt, 25 grams of milk powder, 50 grams of fresh yeast, and 200 grams of softened butter, and place on the mixer. Using the hook attachment, mix for 5 minutes on low speed. Then kick up the speed to medium fast and mix for about 30 more minutes. Check the dough by wetting your fingers and pulling off a piece. Making sure your fingers are really wet, stretch the dough. See how you can see my finger through the dough? The gluten has built up enough and it's done mixing. Place onto a piece of plastic wrap and press into a thin rectangle. Wrap tightly in the plastic and place in the fridge for at least an hour to chill and rest. While the dough is in the fridge, make the filling by placing 300 grams of softened butter, 250 grams of sugar, 3 grams of salt, and 3 grams of vanilla sugar in a bowl and mixing together. Once there are no more clumps of sugar left, set to the side. Do not refrigerate. I just love the yellow color of this dough so much. So beautiful. Oh boy, this dough is cold. That's good. That gives us extra time to play with it. If it's too warm, it can get very floppy sloppy, which is not super fun to work with, I don't think. See how it's sticking to the table like that? Not super great. So we want to sprinkle and sprinkle. There we go. And you want it to be longer than it is wide. Try to make it as rectangular as possible, but you don't have to like go crazy. The reason you want it this way is so that you do not get a piece that ends up being really long and skinny like this, because that means all of your cut pieces get really fat and thick like this. We want them to be really long and skinny because that makes shaping easier. I'm a little uneven over here. There we go. All right, good enough. And you can see, or I can feel, that just by rolling it out and having it be on the marble and this thin, it's already warmed up and it's already much looser, which is why we want it to be so cold. Because imagine if it wasn't cold and then it was doing this, how floppy it would be then. This is what I'm gonna call good enough for a government job. And we have all of our vanilla filling. And we want all of the filling and spread it all the way out to the edges in one thin, even layer. Top third comes down, even up your edges. There we go. And top third goes up. And at this point, I'm kind of just making sure my lines here are even and pressing them in, and that helps kind of seal it. We really want to focus on getting wide as opposed to getting long. I do like to go out this way so that the piece of dough is even, so that way we don't have this side being like, and that side being like only like a little bit wide. So it's nice to kind of even it out and then start to really widen it. And you also really want to pay attention to your ends because that's where a lot of tension is held. Like the middle is going to have no problem getting really nice and long and relaxed, but the edges hold all of that like, so they tend to bow in. So at this point, I'm moving my edges. I want to make sure this is as straight and as rectangular as humanly possible. And we're lifting and we're relaxing. Just kind of checking how the dough is doing. So this side over here feels much heavier and is going wider much more easily. So that tells me that I need to push some dough over here before I make it wider. All right, my dough's getting real loose now. Gotta lift it up and just kind of readjust. And up, sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. I saw somewhere on Instagram, someone say that like professional bakers never sprinkle like this because it's uneven, and they always do that like choo, choo kind of sprinkle, and that's how like all the professionals do it. And it just made me laugh because I don't like to do it that way, because then you get flour everywhere and it's much more difficult to clean up, whereas this is much more like you only get the flour where you want, and because it's going to get moved around, it doesn't matter that it's uneven, like it just doesn't. I have sometimes gotten commentary from friends or from followers that they make these buns and it like comes out of the edges, and they get like really freaked out about it, and they're like, oh my God, and I got like butter coming out of my edges. Like, it's okay. It happens all the time. Like when I used to work in bakeries, like it just does. I mean, if it's a lot, then you need to seal your edges better, but like it is going to come out a little bit, and that is okay. It's fine. Like here, I had some air pockets and they popped, and so now I have some filling coming out of here, and like, that's okay. You know, no harm, no foul. I think the trickiest thing about learning to make, well, pretty much anything in pastry is that it's so rules oriented and it's so regulated, but you can break some of the rules, right? Like there are some rules and there are some like things where it's like, this is fine. I think the hardest thing about pastry is that it's very hard to learn what rules you can bend and what rules you can break and what rules really are hard and fast rules and why. I'm gonna call this good enough. It's not perfectly flat, it's not perfectly straight, but it's good enough for a government job. Now I've washed my hands because I hate being sticky more than almost anything on the human planet. And then I have my big pastry knife. It's super dull, so I can just cut directly on my marble. We love to see it. And of course, my handy dandy scale. Today I'm looking for pieces of dough that are between 80 and 90 grams. Let's see how close I can get to that. Sometimes I'm really good and sometimes I'm really bad. That was 64, that was awful. 80, 88, 88. Once you feel like you have a feel for it, you can just cut and then scale whenever you feel like you need to check in. If your piece is too big, this one's 93, just cut off a piece. Shwunk. Let's move some of these over here. And this is how we're going to shape them today. I'm just gonna shape them how I would shape a classic cardamom, and I'm doing this because this is what we did at the bakery I worked at, and I think it's easy and fun. Relax, 2 fingers, pinch the end of the dough between your thumb and your middle finger, and you're keeping it wide with your other finger, with your pointer finger, and you're gonna go, here's around once, here's around twice. We have this extra bit of dough. It goes over the top and gets tucked in, and boom, shwunk. So again, relax, 2 fingers, pinch, around once, twice. You're gonna come pinch it here. This is my extra tail. It's pinched here. It goes around and inside, and you pull the whole thing off and you go pat, 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 pat. And there you go. That's how you do it. Easy peasy. These can be really shaped however you want, and I have a whole video on how to shape buns up here and down below in the description, so you can just check that out and then shape these pretty much whatever way you want. Also, something to note, you're gonna go around, and this part, you don't wanna pull too tight because then it might like rip or break as they're proofing. This is gonna stop it from proofing, so you want this over the top to be like just resting there. You're not like, you know, really holding it in. You're letting it have room to grow. You can use parchment or you can use a Silpat. Either one's gonna work, but you do want to line your tray with something. And I'm choosing the very best and the very prettiest because I want to. Now I've saved the plastic wrap from when I wrapped the dough and put it in the fridge. And we just wanna wrap these so they don't create a skin, because a skin on buns means they won't rise properly. It kind of makes like a little straight jacket, the bun's trying to proof, and then its skin is really dry, so it's like, it's not nice. Same with the plastic, actually. You don't want to wrap this super tightly in plastic and squish the bun down. We want to give it all the opportunities in the world to grow and grow up to be the best bun it possibly can be. Those are going to proof until they are doubled in size. We'll see how long it takes in my environment right now. I'm gonna guess probably around 2 hours because it's cold outside, but my apartment's warm. We'll see how it goes. The rest of these I'm going to freeze and bake off later in the week. If you need any information on how to freeze, defrost, proof quickly, blah, 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 all that kind of information, I have already made a video on that, and that is attached up here and is also down below in the description in case you want to check that out. And I will be back to check on these bad boys soon. Our buns are proofed, they're doubled in size, and they are soft, and they just look so good. They feel really light, and when you press them with a finger, they don't spring back. And again, they're doubled in size, they're poofy, they're floofy. We love to see it. Into the oven these go. Oh my God. These might genuinely be some of the best buns I ever made. They are so cute. I have a little bit of egg wash here, and we are going to fast brush these with egg wash. Brush and sprinkle. You brush and you sprinkle. Oops, that wasn't a lot. There we go. Now, of course, you could brush with egg wash and pop the pearl sugar on before they go in the oven, but brushing them afterwards makes them really, really nice and soft, regardless of whether you want to brush them with egg wash when they come out of the oven or when they go into the oven, whatever. You do want to brush them with egg wash at some point because it gives them a really nice shine, and we do love that. Also, I find that like you kind of either have to do brush before or brush after. You can't really do both when you're coating with pearl sugar because like if this had already been done, imagine trying to rebrush that. It doesn't really work. So choose whichever one you like best and then do that. Oh my God, they look so good though. I'm so excited. And you can't wait to sprinkle. You have to sprinkle immediately after you brush them so the egg wash like holds on to the pearl sugar, and then it will like cook on top of the bun because these are super hot buns, right? It's not raw egg wash on here now. It's fully cooked egg, and it's gonna help grip the pearl sugar onto the bun. It's so beautiful. I can't even. Oh my God. Saffron buns are my favorite bun, which I don't usually say because like these are very special to only Christmas. I basically will not eat a saffron bun outside of Christmas time, which is funny because I'm actually shooting this in October, so I am eating one now. So I guess I do eat them out of season, but these are absolutely my favorite. Like if I had to choose between cardamom, cinnamon, even like blueberry, whatever, no, saffron. Always, always, always saffron. Oh my God. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked today's video, then please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope that you have a good day and that I'll see you around next time. Hej då!
Get this recipe and 23 more Swedish Christmas classics in my latest ebook, 24 Days of Christmas, available for purchase on my website now.